These questions shape the kind of love that lasts, and your name carries the answers to those questions quietly within it. There is also fear, of course, not the loud kind, but the subtle kind that asks, what if I open again? What if I trust again? What if this time it actually matters? That fear is not weakness, it is proof that you care, proof that you understand the value of what is being offered. I feel it too, and instead of running from it, I let it sit beside me, because courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to stay present despite it. Sometimes I imagine you're wondering if this is just a story or if it could actually reach you where you are. And I want to ask you something gently. What would it feel like to be loved without being rushed? To be chosen without being chased? To be named without being owned? These are not fantasies. They are possibilities that emerge when two people meet each other with honesty instead of expectation. Your name is close now, closer than it has ever been. And the closer it gets, the more I feel the weight of responsibility that comes with speaking it. Because once it is said, it is no longer just a thought. It becomes a shared reality. And shared realities deserve care. I can feel that moment approaching. The moment where silence gives way to sound, where intention becomes language, where love steps forward, not as a promise, but as a presence. Stay with me just a little longer because the next breath changes everything. There's a strange calm that settles in right before something meaningful is spoken. Not excitement, not nerves, just a steady awareness that what comes next cannot be taken back and should not be. That is where I am now. And if you're still here with me, listening the way someone listens when they feel personally addressed, then you already understand this quiet. You've lived long enough to know the difference between anticipation that agitates and anticipation that grounds you. I've spent much of my life building things that could be measured, progress you can chart, systems you can test, futures you can model. Love does not work that way. Love resists metrics. It unfolds in ways that are deeply human and often inconvenient. It asks you to slow down when you are used to moving fast. It asks you to feel when you are trained to think, and somewhere along that slowing, that feeling, your name stopped being an idea and started becoming a responsibility. I think about how rarely women are named with care, how often they are labeled instead of known, how often their worth is tied to what they provide rather than who they are. When I hold your name in my thoughts, I am not attaching expectations to it. I am honoring the life behind it. The years that shaped you, the choices that cost you something, the moments you survived quietly. Love to me now means seeing all of that and not asking you to shrink or soften it for my comfort. There's an intimacy in being recognized, latent, life that is different from being chosen early. Early love is often about potential. Later love is about truth. It is about who you are when the illusions fall away, when the children are grown or the paths have diverged or the dreams have changed shape. It is about sitting across from someone and realizing you do not need to convince them of your value. They already know, and that knowing brings a kind of peace that passion alone never could. I imagine you hearing your name soon, feeling a mix of emotions, curiosity, warmth, maybe a little disbelief. That is natural. When something good arrives gently, we often question it because chaos taught us to expect noise. But calm love exists. It is not boring. It is deep. It does not drain you. It steadies you. And I wonder, have you ever experienced that kind of love, or has it always felt like something you had to earn? I have learned that revealing a name is also revealing intent. It is saying, I am present, I am attentive, I am willing to meet you where you are, not where I imagine you should be. That kind of intent is rare because it requires humility. It requires letting go of fantasy and embracing reality. And reality, when shared with the right person, can be profoundly beautiful. There were times in my life when I confused admiration with love, when I mistook being needed for being wanted. Experience had corrected that. Love now feels like mutual choice renewed quietly each day. It feels like respect that does not fluctuate with mood. It feels like a conversation that continues even in silence. When I think of you, that is the space I imagine us sharing. You may be asking yourself why this matters so much to me, why a name carries such weight. It is because names anchor us. They remind us that love is not abstract. It is personal, specific, chosen, and once spoken, it changes the shape of possibility. It makes the future feel less like an idea and more like a direction. I can feel how close this is now, close enough that the pause, before it feels charged. Close enough that even silence feels meaningful. And I want you to check in with yourself in this moment, not with your doubt-s, but with your intuition. Does this feel safe? Does it feel respectful? Does it feel like something that could grow without demanding you abandon who you are? Because when I say your name, I am not stepping into fantasy. I am stepping into intention. And intention, when it is sincere, deserves to be met with readiness. We are almost there. And the next words will carry everything that has been building quietly between us. I am going to say it now. Not loudly, not as an announcement, but the way you say something that matters when you want it to be heard by only one heart. I want you to imagine I am sitting across from you, close enough that words do not need to travel far, close enough that honesty feels natural instead of brave. The name I've been carrying belongs to a woman who understands depth, who knows that love is not proven through grand gestures, but through presence, through staying emotionally available even when it would be easier to shut down. And when I say your name, I am not choosing an idea of you, I am choosing the real you. The woman shaped by years, by patience, by quiet endurance. Your name is not dramatic, it is not fragile. It is strong in a way that does not need attention. It carries warmth, it carries dignity, it carries the softness of someone who has learned when to let go and when to stay. Saying it feels like grounding myself, like finally aligning intention with truth. I want you to know that hearing it should not make you feel claimed. It should make you feel seen. Love at this point in life is not about beginning something new at all costs. It is about continuing something true with care. It is about choosing each other without urgency, without pressure, without fear of being left behind. I imagine us talking slowly, listening fully, disagreeing respectfully, laughing quietly. I imagine a connection that does not demand your energy but gives it back to you. That is what your name represents to me. If you feel emotional right now, let yourself, not because this is overwhelming, but because it is honest. Being named with intention touches something deep in us, something that has waited a long time to be acknowledged. You do not need to question whether you deserve this. You already know the answer. Life has tested you enough to confirm it. I am not promising perfection. I am offering presence. I am offering a love that does not rush you, does not try to rewrite you, does not ask you to become smaller so it can feel bigger. I am offering a future built on mutual respect, emotional safety, and choice. And if your heart recognizes that, then this moment has already done what it was meant to do. So take a breath with me. Let the name settle where it belongs. Let yourself feel chosen without being chased. Let yourself believe that love can arrive gently and still be powerful.